Do you fear your skills are slowly becoming irrelevant while you're working for this one company using this one programming language, this one framework? In this video I'll reveal how you can figure out whether you're still relevant in the job market and what simple things you can do to stay relevant and even become more attractive for future employees. Things that don't have to cost too much time. Continuous learning is basically required to stay active in the field of software engineering. Things change all the time, there's so much happening, but how do you know what to focus on? Let's talk about that. First, I want to talk about aggregators, because the thing is, there's just too much. You have to filter somehow. You have to find the right news aggregators for your topic. But what is your topic? If you're a senior front-end developer, you're probably a lot better at selecting which articles are a good match for you compared to a junior. So is front-end development a good topic for everybody? I would say it depends on your experience. No, it's not a good topic for everybody. What I've noticed is that some platforms are good in some topics and bad in others. An example is that I've never really liked Reddit as a source for front-end news because all the content there was just too basic for me. Now that's true for me, but is it true for you? Another example is that I still haven't found a great AI-specific aggregator. For now I'm only reading Hacker News because occasionally it has really good AI articles that are matching the thing I'm looking for. And similarly, for juniors and mid-level devs I recommend daily.dev because a lot of the content over there will match your level. My recommendation is to pick a handful of topics you want to stay up to date with and just start with those. They could be languages, frameworks, libraries. If you are a React front-end developer, then those two might be the first ones you want to start with, the topic of React and the topic of front-end. React is a very specific topic, but it can also be broad depending on how much external libraries and other patterns and things you want to go with. And front-end can also be a very large topic because there's so many different technologies and frameworks and everything in there. Those could be enough already. I think Smashing Magazine is another example. I really like that for front-end developers. It has all the different languages and frameworks and whatever is going on in the world of front-end. It has good HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It has stuff on accessibility, stuff on design, everything that is relevant for you as a front-end dev. Besides a few generic tips, it's really hard to recommend specific tools that you might be looking for, because it really depends on what programming languages, frameworks, libraries, what topics you are looking for. And it also depends on the level. Daily.dev is a good generic recommendation because it has all the topics and all the languages out there. Not even that, a lot of them. Something else I do yearly is I check for usage numbers. Specifically for JavaScript, for example, there's the State of JavaScript survey that happens every year, and they survey a lot of different features of the JavaScript landscape. They also look at React, they also look at the different frameworks, how much is React used versus Vue versus Angular, are they growing, are they shrinking, what's going on, how much do people like it versus how much do people use it. Sometimes their employer just decides you have to use this framework and they're not happy with it, but they're using it anyway. All that data is very interesting and State of JS captures it really nicely in this yearly survey. Now there's probably alternatives for different languages, frameworks, everything, but you have to search for them yourselves because I don't know this for all programming languages. I know that Stack Overflow also publishes yearly what languages are most popular. I also quickly want to touch upon social media. Social media is itself an aggregator of content, of course, and you can even argue that daily.dev, which I just showed, is social media. I recommend to follow specific creators that you like. And if you don't have anybody you like yet, then you can try and find those people from now on. Whenever you go to conferences, you can pay attention who the speaker is. Whenever you're reading books or reading articles, look up the author, see if they have a blog, see if they publish other things. Examples that work for me is the Substack of Kent Beck or the newsletter of Dave Farley. They create a lot of content that resonates with me. The downsides of those two names is that it's not that accessible for juniors and mid-levels. It requires more experience to get it. The thing is with those two creators is that they're not giving you 10 great JavaScript tips to hack your way through your day job. That's not what these two people are doing. They're on a higher level. They're thinking on the process of programming. They're thinking about management. They're thinking about teams. The point is that you have to find the creators that resonate with you. That is a very personal thing. Second, let's talk about the in-person stuff you can do. And here my recommendation is to try and go to at least one conference a year. Most employers are willing to pay for one. Conferences are a great way to get exposed to content which you wouldn't naturally get exposed to because maybe you didn't click on it. And some conferences often have communities in Discord or Mastodon or Slack. You can hang around in those channels, see other people's opinions, posts, discussions. That is also part of staying up to date. I like conferences because they have a tendency to burst your filter bubble. You sometimes get to hear or see talks which you didn't necessarily want to see, but they were interesting anyway. And if you live in a city, you probably have easy access to meetings of user groups. Depending on the group, they can be really nice to join. Like conferences, meetups are a chance to meet like-minded people and to hear other perspectives, and it's always good to let yourself be influenced by other perspectives. In my experience, meetups are often more useful for juniors and mid-levels because organizers want them to be somewhat accessible, or at least accessible enough. But they can also be useful for seniors, but from a different role, maybe to build your network or to be there as a speaker. And if you're looking for a job, a meetup is often a chance to meet a company that's very local, that's very close to where you live. And you get a chance to meet them outside of the normal hiring process, which can also be an advantage. I found most of the meetups I've attended on meetup.com, but there's also a lot going on LinkedIn. My last tip is designed to calm any fear you may have. Fear of becoming irrelevant. What I do is, once a year I read a lot of vacancies. I don't think about applying for another job. I'm not actually applying for another job. I'm just purely looking at what companies are looking for. Many companies are posting lists of skills and entire behavior profiles in their vacancy texts. That's very useful to look at from the perspective of, do I qualify? But you can also do it to inform your personal development goals. If there's a skill suddenly every company is looking for that they weren't last year yet, there's this new technology that suddenly those companies are using. You know what you can focus on. You know what to learn next. This is something you don't have to do that often. I think I do this probably only once a year. But this is really helping against that fear of becoming irrelevant, because you are checking your skills against what companies want. That is the source of being relevant in the job market. And if you are missing a skill, you've just taken the first step. You now know what you have to learn. Good luck. So far, I've had a very strong focus on technical skills, like programming language and libraries. But most of the time, that is not what companies want. That is not what will get you a promotion or get you a new job. Employers don't want people to code harder and faster. They want something different. And if you want to learn what that is, watch Why You're Not Getting Promoted Yet. And now I'd like to hear from you. Any specific sources you use to stay up to date? Please leave a comment and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.